About 1 year ago now, I was contacted by a trail building company to build the craziest mountain bike feature I could have ever imagined, a corkscrew. Now, when you build a corkscrew, especially as big as we did, you kinda assume it's gonna be the most iconic thing you'll ever get to build. And as a trail builder, that was sort of a bittersweet feeling to have while I was building it. Like, what else could you build that would top this thing? Well, a couple months ago, Alex from that very same trail building company reached out again, and he presented me with the holy grail of trail building opportunities. Welcome to Howler Bike Park. Located south of Springfield, Missouri, right in the heart of the Ozarks, these hillsides will be home to around 50 mountain bike trails that all have shuttle access. Every line will lead down to the base camp where there will be food, a bike shop, music, rentals, campsites, and all sorts of good stuff. Now, since it's not open yet, there's only a couple trails done, but the ones that are done are a freaking blast. Now, what makes this bike park so special is that it's owned and operated by actual riders at Mountain Movement, a local bike shop in the area that is all about getting the most gnarly, crazy, unique mountain bike trails built on these hillsides. And when I say unique, I mean it, because Mountain Movement, along with Jagged Axe Trail Designs, asked me to come out and help build an entire dual slalom trail named Taco Cat that will jump and crisscross over each other the entire way down without touching. To do that, I'm going to be building some absolutely massive features. No doubt, this trail will be something unlike anything I've ever built, seen, or even ridden before. Now, you might be wondering, where do you even start on a project this big? Well, you start at the top. So, in this video, we'll be building the starting hub, a huge snaking berm for Trail A, and a rather large drop that lands on the back side of the berm for Trail B. And as soon as I showed up, the guys at Jagged Axe didn't waste any time and got right to work on day one with digging our first berm. While they were doing that, I started gathering wood for the drop. What's interesting about trail building in different areas is each place has its own unique terrain, which offer you benefits and problems. One problem you'll often find in the Ozark area is having an abundance of rock. You can see as Aiden is digging out where our S-berms will go, most of what he's hitting is rock. This will be good later when we're building our starting hub to make a sort of retaining wall with the larger rocks, but when you want a nice berm with good grip, you need some clay. So a thing some of you may or may not know is most trail building crews in this situation will dig what's known as a borrow pit in an area that they know they can get better dirt from. Once they have enough, they'll throw some bad dirt back in the hole and it's like they were never there. So while Aiden got the general shape of the S-berm done, Taylor started bringing in loads of dirt from the nearby borrow pit. And while they made easy work of building two giant berms and the landing, I still was chopping trees and peeling bark diligently. Wow. Peeling bark is one of those things that takes forever, but is super satisfying to do. And the whole purpose is to help prevent bugs and rot from getting to the wood. Now, as much fun as I may make this look, I was pretty happy to find out that I only needed to gather enough wood for the structure of the drop and not for the decking. The decking will be coming from a local sawmill called Ozark Saw and Lumber that just so happens to be owned by a guy that loves mountain biking. So within just a few days, I was able to get all the wood I needed for this entire project. So today is pretty much construction day. We have the landing done, we've got the cut through, everything's got to get a little bit more, finished up, get some dirt on it, clean it up. But yeah, we're gonna pretty much just be putting up this log here and getting it set up right. It's gonna be kind of more of a drop. So you'll go up onto it and then just shoot over and land in there, and then somebody can shoot through there. It's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be so cool. Over the next few days, Aiden and Taylor went to town on finishing up the berms and landing, but they could only do so much. The mountain Howler Bike Park was sitting on hadn't gotten rain in several weeks, so things were virtually unfinishable until we got some rain. But they did manage to get things looking pretty dang good regardless. While they were doing all that, I was busy prepping the wood that was going to be the base of our drop. For this feature, we decided to go with an A-frame design, so I notched out a flat area on 2 logs and sandwiched them together with a huge bolt. After getting it bolted together, I used some scrap wood and a stump in the ground to temporarily hold up the frame. I then built the exact same thing and placed it 12 feet up the hill. Once I had the A-frames up, I had the guys help me get our main running log into place because this thing was super heavy.
A little more.
That looks good.
Right in there.
That looks good.
Hey.
With that in, I marked out and made a couple notches to keep the log from rotating, and then it was time to really make this thing structurally sound.
Oh yeah.
To make this thing extra sturdy, I started by adding another brace to the bottom of the frame. All this wood joinery might seem like overkill to you, but not only is it adding structural integrity, but I also think it looks so much better than just screwing 2 logs together. Once my bottom braces were on, I then notched some flat edges on them so I could attach braces that would run directly out to the main running log. To ensure there would be no tipping front or back, I took extra care to saw and chisel out some dado joints to hold the bracing in place. Once I know that I have a good fitting joint, I'll pull everything back apart and clean up all of the edges. This will ensure that none of the parts start to fray or split as the feature moves around, and it makes everything have a nice clean looking edge.
That thing's gonna hold forever.
Once I had one brace done, I pretty much rinsed and repeated a couple more braces for the front and back. By the time I was all finished with my bracing, the guys had been working hard on building up the starting hub. To do the hub, they simply scouted for large, good-looking rocks and used them to build up a wall, along with a roll-in for our drop. Then they came back and filled everything in with dirt. And with perfect timing, as they were putting the finishing touches on the hub, I was finishing up milling the main log flat with the chainsaw and adding on some supports to the side for the decking. Once that was all squared away, I was ready to build the ramp that would get you onto the drop. Since the drop was pretty high though, and we didn't want it to be excessively long, we opted to raise the ground using some rocks instead of extending the drop out more. Once my rocks were there, I went ahead and attached some runners out from the drop, and I was finally getting close to that glorious moment of getting to deck this thing. But then we got a little miracle the next day when we came up to work.
We got water. Oh man, everything looks so good. Yeah, that's all gonna pack beautifully. You can't beat that, man. You cannot beat that. Look at these freaking berms. They are soaked. I think they're gonna pack in awesomely. And look at the freaking wood. Oh, when it's all like bright red like that because it's wet. And then the rolling, oh my gosh, the green, the moss on the rolling stuff. So gorgeous right now. This is like the best morning ever. It's like Christmas. Oh man.
It couldn't have rained at a more perfect time because the guys had just finished up moving all the dirt where it needed to be the day before. So they were able to get to work packing all of that dirt in that they had just moved. They did all that, I got to work doing what I do best, turning a simple project into an overly complicated one, all in the name of making things unique. While I was working on this, I decided this thing would really benefit from looking like an arrow, like a bow and arrow. So instead of decking the easy way, I had to add some inner supports so that I could create some feathers. Once the inner supports were there though, it was finally time to start decking. Here I'm adding some additional support for the arrowhead so that there's no chance of it moving around on people eyeing up the drop. To carve the arrowhead out, I sort of just eyeballed one side and then mirrored it on the other. After that was done, I did a few more finishing touches like adding some rope to give it even more of an arrowhead appearance. And then I even carved around on the first boards to give them more of a feathered look. But after that, everything was completely done and it was finally time to hit this drop. And if I'm totally honest, I was completely terrified to ride this thing because if I do hit this, it'll be the largest drop I have ever ridden. But before we try that, let me just say a quick thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. With HelloFresh, you can get mouth-watering seasonal recipes and fresh pre-measured ingredients delivered right to your door. America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh makes cooking at home fun, easy, and affordable. They offer a wide variety of quick meal options like 20-minute dinners that are not only tasty, but healthy too. I tend to eat low carb, which they accommodate alongside low-cal, vegetarian, and pescatarian options. Plus, every recipe is packed with fresh produce sourced directly from farmers. Not only is it tastier and healthier, but HelloFresh also saves you money, up to 30% versus grocery store shopping. And one of my favorite things, HelloFresh's carbon footprint is 25% lower than that of meals made from store-bought groceries. So, if you want to try HelloFresh along with me, go to HelloFresh.com and use my code BackyardTrail14 to get 14 free meals, including shipping. That's HelloFresh.com and promo code BackyardTrail14.
Money.
Is so much fun to ride, and I'm so thankful to have had Max, Bo, and Aiden out there to push me to ride it. And also a huge thanks to Polygon for giving me a bike that is awesome enough to send it off huge features like this. This is definitely the biggest drop I have ever done.
Oh yeah, so
Now, if you guys want to keep an eye out on the progress of everything going on at Howler Bike Park, go follow Mountain Movement and Howler Bike Park on Instagram. And you should definitely go give Jagged Axe Trail Designs a follow there too, because they're posting tons of stuff as well. Next time on this trail, we'll be building a massive wooden tabletop that will have the other trail tunneling underneath it. So keep an eye out for that next video in this Howler Bike Park series. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you at the next build.